This
I welcome
conference
you
will
all
now be recorded.
in this High School Connect session with Ohio Dominican University with Sunbeam School, Varanasi. My name is Nupur Anand. I take care of digital marketing and School Connect. Along with me, I have my colleague Afsha Aziz. She takes care of School Connect and University Outreach. So we have prepared a small PPT to introduce each one of you. Please allow me to share my screen. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, Nupur.
Great. So starting with the university which we have today is Ohio Dominican University, one of the leading universities of US, founded in 1911. From the university, we have Natalie Chang, currently working as Director in International Education. She is skilled in department admission, international education, recruitment admission, and orientation for international students. Natalie will give you some more insight about the university later. The school which we have today is Sunbeam English Public School, one of the leading school of India and one of the prestigious. It is in Varanasi, which is an ancient city of India, founded in 1972. School has various branches in Varanasi city, and from this school, we have members joining us today. Pratima Gupta ma'am is working as assistant director. Gurmeet Kaur ma'am, working as principal. Special thanks to both of them for taking out time from their busy schedule. Prerna Sharma ma'am, working as vice principal. Neha Tripathi, working as school counselor. And I would like to thanks Neha for coordinating with us and providing us all the necessary information. Thank you, Neha. Then we have Suparna Taneja ma'am, currently working as academic coordinator, Rinku Tripathi, senior commerce PGT, and we have Arvind Kumar Singh, he's hostel superintendent. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to give you a quick brief about Unibrijj as well. We work as exclusive recruitment arm for universities. We are providing university tailored student recruitment services like media planning, building network, direct sourcing channels, in-country registration, lead management, and other support functions. That's it from my side. Now, I would request Natalie to take this forward from here and give us a detail about the university. And once again, I thank you all for joining the session. Over to you, Natalie.
Great, thank you. And let me just get my screen on here for you. All right, are you able to see it? Yes? Okay, great. Awesome. So as I mentioned, I'm from Ohio Dominican University, and I'd like to thank everyone at Unibrijj for putting this together. It's been a really good experience working with everyone on your team, and these have been really fantastic events that we've been doing during this really strange time where we can't actually travel, which is so unfortunate. But I'd also like to thank all of you from Sunbeam. It's been really interesting to learn more about your school, and I'm really excited to work with you guys moving forward. So a little bit about me real quick, a quick introduction. My name is Natalie Chang. I'm the Director of International Education at Ohio Dominican University. The office I oversee works with all of our international student recruitment, admission, international student services and advising. We also oversee our study abroad programs. I'm actually originally not from Ohio. I grew up in California. I do live here now, and one thing I really love to share with everyone is that in Columbus, we have tons of great opportunities. I'd say just as many fantastic opportunities as I experienced in California, but with a really nice cost of living that's much more manageable, especially for an international student. So a little background about our university. Ohio Dominican University is a small liberal arts university located in Columbus, Ohio. The nice thing about it is our students get the best of both worlds in terms of the American college experience. I think a lot of students in the US feel like they need to choose between the small college experience, which tends to be a little bit rural, or the large university experience in a big college city. We have the benefit of both. We have a small campus. We are a small university with 1,600 students, so it's very intimate. We maintain an average class size of about 18. So our students are not sitting in large lecture halls all day. They're actually interacting with their professors. They're really engaged with their classmates. And, everybody is part of this community. With our international students, I know them all personally. So my team works with our international students individually, so they have that extra support. But across the board, in every facet of their experience at ODU, it is very intimate. It is very hands-on. So they get all the benefits that come from being at a small school like that. But we're also located in Columbus, Ohio, which is a big city, one of the fastest growing cities in the country. We offer 39 different majors, very much focused on career readiness and competitiveness, so that our students are able to either go directly into the workforce or pursue their graduate school ambitions, and we know that they are prepared to do those things. And we have a pretty lively student community on campus. We have over 40 student organizations. Our athletes compete in Division II athletics. So there's really a lot going on our small campus. So students both on and off campus can really enjoy their experience and make the most of it. There's tons of great opportunities for them. We are really proud of the community that we have in terms of diversity of backgrounds that our students are coming from. We have, among our international students, we have students from over 25 different countries. And then Columbus itself is quite diverse as well. A large immigrant community as well. So we have students that are, their families, their heritage, their culture is from all over the world, really expanding that. So it's a very welcoming environment. We are a Catholic university, but among our student population, it's very diverse, welcoming of all faiths and backgrounds. So I think for international students, it's a welcoming environment for them to come to, which I know, and especially in these times, is something that parents, schools are looking for their students. If you're not as familiar with Columbus, Columbus is the 14th largest or 13th largest city in the US, depending on which ranking you look at. But we just surpassed San Francisco in terms of population. It's a very young city, so lots of young people, a very entrepreneurial city with lots of great opportunities, but because of our great location in the Midwest, a very affordable cost of living. So students can really make the most of those first few years out of college. If you look at the map, you can see where Ohio is located, sort of in between Chicago and New York. So in the summers, students have great opportunities if they do want to go to one of the top 2 cities in the US, top 3 cities. It's very easy for them to make that transition. But here in Columbus, there's also just tons of cool opportunities for them to explore and really make the most of their time here. Columbus is consistently ranked one of the best cities for young people, especially young professionals coming out of university. Here at ODU, we have a job and grad school placement rate of 92%, which especially for a liberal arts college is exceptional. And that's really thanks to our very dedicated career development office. That office works with our students on an individual basis. So one of those benefits of being at a small school, when we have services like career services and advising, it's not done in large workshop formats. It's done on a one-on-one basis. They help students with everything from developing their CV to doing mock interviews. They source internships, help them prepare for graduate school applications, for job applications following university, tons of support. We also work really, really closely with the major industries in our area. So Columbus is known across the country as being kind of a hub for the healthcare industry, the financial industry, and the risk management insurance industry. So we have really close ties in those areas, especially. And then also because we're a small or a young city, it's very entrepreneurial. So we have an emerging tech sector. and a lot of startup entrepreneurial ventures going on here in Columbus. So tons of cool opportunities for our students that I'm always very excited to share with them and to see what they're doing. Our international students are very proactive in looking for those opportunities and making the most of them. So we are a liberal arts university, which means we do offer the traditional American four-year degree, requiring students to study both in their major and also doing a general education requirement. So here in the US, all students do classes in the humanities, social sciences, regardless of what their major is. We are really focused on educating the whole person. If you're ever on our campus or speaking to our faculty and administration, that's a thing you'll hear a lot. It's one of our main missions, is educating our students as people, as the whole person, not just their degree, not just their chosen field of study, but also preparing them for the world, preparing them to be professionals, members of their communities. So our classes maintain a really small size. As I mentioned before, our average size is 18 students per class. The majority of our classes are under 30 students in the classroom, which offers a very Socratic method of instruction. Students are very engaged. They are very involved with their faculty. Our faculty know our students by name, by interest, by background. So when our students are going off to do things like apply for jobs or apply for graduate school, you know that they're getting recommendations and guidance from faculty who know them very, very well. Very different from, that 100, 200 person lecture hall situation that is pretty common here in the US. And that's really aided by our faculty-student ratio. We're about 13-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio. And when students enter their second year of university, they're actually assigned a faculty advisor from their field who follows them all the way through graduation and guides them to meet their goals. It's not uncommon at ODU for faculty to share their mobile numbers with their students because they're very invested in every part of their education. About 85% of our international students engage in internships during their education, and I'd say the majority, close to 100, if students don't have particular reasons for wanting to go directly home for a job offer, an internship offer, they choose to stay for a year or more after graduation to complete OPT, which is the post-completion work authorization that international students have. So our students are really proactive in making the most of their experience here. And most importantly, our small size and our liberal arts focus really develops a sense of community. As a Dominican school, we focus on a theme every year. For example, last year's theme was truth. And that kind of guides a lot of our co-curricular activities. So we have a lot of guest speakers and educational events outside of the classroom that bring the whole campus together. There we go. So we have 39 majors available to our undergraduate students. I've only put a subset of those on here just for space. These are some of the most popular among our international students, and highlighted in yellow the ones that are very, very popular among our international students. Typically from students coming from abroad, they're interested in going into the health sciences, business, or computer sciences and technology. Those are the main areas we see international students interested in, but we offer degrees in a wide range of areas. At our university, I'd say our strong suits are our division of business, which oversees everything from business to marketing to finance. Our computer science program, because it is so intimate, students are working on projects very closely with faculty. And then our education program is actually quite popular as well. But science is, of course, far and wide one of the most popular among both domestic and international students. And again, our small size allows for laboratory environments and hands-on experience that is really unparalleled at the undergraduate level. We really encourage our students to consider things like a double major or taking up an academic minor to really enhance their degree and make it stand out when they are finishing up. So they can minor in any of the things that we offer majors in, and we also have some bespoke minors that are specifically developed to supplement a student's education for additional skills or certain goals. The newest minor that we have that kind of fits this description is our innovation and entrepreneurship minor. I'm really excited about this program because our faculty that have developed it are developing an incubator on campus, working directly with industry here in Columbus to source internship opportunities and to help students pursue a career path or goal that is more in line with the values that we see of this generation, this Gen Z student that's really excited about giving back to their community, making an impact, a social impact. And so the innovation and entrepreneurship minor has been designed to pair with any of our majors. So a student studying the sciences because they want to get into a tech startup or something like that could pursue this. A student in the humanities or education wanting to develop a nonprofit could pursue this minor and find ways to develop that goal. We also have a number of accelerated bachelor and master programs. Again, another thing that's very popular with international students because of the value. And I'll go into that a little more detail about that right here. So these accelerated dual degree programs allow our students to earn both their bachelor's degree and their master's degree in a shorter period of time. Again, so students that are coming from abroad, you know, it's an expensive endeavor. It's a time commitment away from your family, away from home. This is an incredible way to save money, save time, and graduate with a competitive degree. So here at ODU, they can complete what's called our 4+1 MBA. They can get their bachelor's degree in any major on our campus and pursue an MBA, a Master's of Business Administration. Most common, we see students that study finance or business at the undergraduate level pursue this, but we also get students who are doing something like computer science or one of the more physical sciences who also join the 4+1 program so that when they're entering the workforce, they already have that business background that's important for bringing those soft skills to their hard skills major. We also have a 3+2 agreement with our partner university, the University of Dayton. It's another private university here in Ohio. It's not very far away from us at all. And the way this program works is students spend 3 years at ODU working on their undergraduate degree. If they're going on the engineering track, they're going to be studying either computer science, biology, chemistry, one of those sciences. And then they go on to the University of Dayton for 2 years. And they enter the engineering school where they can pursue bioengineering, chemical engineering, computer engineering. There's a host of different options. Same thing with the law program. Students will study in one of the humanities or social sciences with us here at ODU, and then they move on to the University of Dayton to do their JD, their law degree. These programs cut off at least 1 year of study, which is fantastic. But the main benefit of this is students have a guaranteed pathway to that graduate program from their freshman year. So they apply to ODU specifically for this program, and as long as they maintain a strong GPA and they go through the process with their academic advisor to make sure they're staying on track, they can enter these 2 programs, kind of bypassing the traditional application process for the graduate school, which is fantastic because both the engineering school and the law school at UD are competitive. Traditional students going directly from their 4-year degree are going to be in a very competitive field, whereas students that are going through this track, as long as they're maintaining their academic status, they're all set to move on to the graduate program. Right. And one more program I'd like to highlight that we have here at ODU is our honors program. Looking at your school profile, I think you'd probably have quite a few students who would qualify and enjoy this program. It's for students who are looking for more academic rigor. It one of the big benefits is that for their core seminars, which are seminars that students take every year at ODU, they're in a special honor seminar. They're smaller, they're more rigorous. Students engage in more research during their undergraduate program than is traditional in the US. They do a featured senior project, either a research project or otherwise. And then you can engage in research and mentorship with our faculty on a I'd say on a more intense level. These are students who want to be more academically focused. They tend to have grad school ambitions, whether that's law school, medical school, or other graduate programs. And they can actually qualify for additional scholarships if they join the honors program. One other thing that's really great is that in our dormitories, we have a separate portion of our dormitories reserved for honor students. It's a quieter section. They have more rules about, quiet hours and whatnot, and they have dedicated study areas for them. I just want to talk a little bit about our on-campus services because, when you study in the US and particularly at ODU, there's a lot more to the experience than just what's going on in the classroom. Again, the benefits of being a small school, all of our services are individualized, highlighting particularly our career services, which focus on preparing our students for graduate school and for their job applications in the future. But then our academic resources are fantastic. Our Academic Resource Center has free tutoring in every subject. So students can get peer tutoring one-on-one, they can go to extra study sessions and get advice from faculty or from fellow students on how to best pursue their academic course. They offer test prep. A lot of graduate school programs in the US require specific tests, so our students can prepare for those. And then we have support for students writing and research. Safety on campus is something I always like to cover with parents and with schools, just because we know that this is a concern when you're sending your student abroad so far from home. And there's always worries about sending your student to a different country. I'm very proud to say and very comfortable mentioning that ODU is a very safe campus. As I mentioned, we are in the city. We're 10 minutes away from downtown on a very intimate, green-looking campus environment. It doesn't take more than 6 or 7 minutes to walk from one place to another on campus because of our size. But we do have 24-hour security on campus. So we have public safety officers who work for the university, and there's always someone on duty. Students that live in the residence halls can only access the residence halls with a key card. That means no one from the public is able to enter. And then if a student is, staying late in the library studying or coming back from an off-campus event and it's dark and, they're nervous about walking across campus, they can always call our public safety. We have an escort program 24 hours a day. So it's a safe place to be in. Columbus itself is a very comfortable and I would argue safe city. In terms of how students apply to our university, we try to keep it quite simple. We know that international students are considering schools sometimes in multiple countries, which means multiple different application systems, and it can get very complicated for them. So we keep our program pretty simple. We have a free online application. There's no application fee for undergraduate applicants. We base most of our admission decisions for general applicants on secondary school results, and then we would always need proof of English proficiency. My office does work directly with each individual applicant through the process, and so that's where our more holistic approach comes in, our individual conversations we have with these students across the board while they're going through this process. Students coming from your school, of course, would not have to submit proof of English proficiency. That would be waived because they're coming from an English medium school. International students are not required to submit SATs to ODU. We are test optional, and for international students, it's not required whatsoever. If a student is applying for the honors program, that is where there are additional materials. They will need teacher recommendations, motivational essay, and additional test scores are greatly appreciated, while for the international students it can be they can be waived. We do all of our evaluations in-house, so we don't require students to get a WES evaluation or any of those outside organizations where they have to pay to have their grades translated to the US system. We do that ourselves. And then I think I saw on your website that you do offer an IB program. So we do offer advanced credit if students are doing IB. I'm very happy to say that our international students pay the same tuition rate as our domestic students. We do not charge a premium on international students. It's one of the benefits of being a private school. We have merit scholarships. Students are automatically considered for these scholarships when they apply. There's no separate application process. Again, the only difference being for the honors students. If a student is applying for honors program, they'll automatically be considered for the honors application or honors scholarships as well. Our merit scholarships typically range between $13,000 and $15,000 a year. And then we have some stackable awards as well that can increase that number. In addition to merit scholarships, which are tuition-based scholarships, we offer a work study award to all of our international students, which gives them the opportunity to get an on-campus job if they want one. And then we have housing grants as well. International students get a $2,000 housing grant that decreases the cost of living on campus every year. And then something I'm very, very excited that we're doing is because we know international students in that first year, it's a big transition period. We want to encourage them to live on campus and also make that transition as easy as possible. We have a Global Connections grant. We call it our GCG, and it offers international students free housing for 1 year. So their first year living in the dormitory is free. If you look at our cost breakdown, we show before scholarship and after scholarship. So what the cost per semester is for things like tuition, for the dormitory, and for the meal plan, before and after the scholarships are applied. And so a typical student's financial aid package will bring their total cost, which includes personal expenses, to $30,000 or lower. Now, one important thing to mention is that this dormitory number is 0 for their first year because of the Global Connections grant. Some more about the Global Connections grant. The benefits of on-campus living we find are enormous. We really like to encourage our students, and actually we require our students to live on campus for the first 2 years. It is possible to live on campus for all 4 years. So a lot of our international students choose to do that. All of our international undergraduate applicants are eligible for the Global Connections grant. And what that does is it gives them 2 semesters, so their first full academic year of free on-campus housing. They live with 3 other students of the same gender in a 4-person suite, which is 2 double rooms and a shared common space and shared bathroom. During this current health crisis, this is particularly good. We don't have the situation where students are living in a dormitory hall with large shared bathrooms. They're basically in their own small household of 4 students. I did want to talk a little bit about our COVID-19 response, just to give you a sense of what things have been like here at ODU and what they're going to be like moving forward. Ohio has been featured in the news because our governor was one of the quickest to respond to the situation. We were one of the earliest states to go into a full quarantine and close our schools. So back in mid-March, we did close our campus. We transitioned to fully remote instruction for the entire spring semester. The timing worked out strangely well for us because we were on our spring break at the time. So students were actually on vacation, which gave us a couple extra days to work closely with our faculty and make that transition go much smoother than I think anyone could have anticipated. The way our campus just immediately responded to the situation was incredible. While we did close our campus and we asked that our American students from around here that were able to leave the dormitories, we have kept our dormitories open to international students. It's been our priority to make sure that they were never in a situation where they felt they had to travel if they weren't comfortable doing so. This is their home while they're a student. You know, we consider ODU, we've made a promise to them that they are here, they are home at ODU for as long as they're a student. So the dorms have remained open for them. And we did have the majority of our international students remain in the country, and the majority of our dormitory students remain in the dorms. Throughout this entire time, we've maintained our regular meal services and public safety, and actually our dining hall started delivering meals directly to the dormitory to maintain social distancing. So we've been doing that since March. We're pretty experienced at it now, and so we're looking forward to a return in the fall. We feel like this has given us enough time to perfect our methods in maintaining social distancing, and we have returned to campus as a staff. Most of us are going in a few days a week and taking turns going in to maintain social distancing for the summer, but we are planning to return to on-campus instruction this fall. This summer, we've hybridized all of our classrooms. So now every classroom on campus has cameras and microphones so that every in-person class is also accessible to a student off campus. One of the main reasons we've decided to do this for all of our classes is so that if a student were to wake up one day with a cough, they don't need to feel like they have to come to class. They have the flexibility to attend their class virtually and never feel like they need to expose themselves or expose others at any point in the semester. So we're pretty excited about all the new changes on campus from a technological standpoint because this gives us a lot of flexibility moving forward. And right now, with the small number of students I have, that international students that did return home that aren't going to make it back in time for fall, they'll still be able to maintain their course enrollment, maintain their academic progress by joining their classes remotely. Another, it's strange to say silver lining about the current situation, but one thing that has come out of all of this is that our admission office very, very quickly, once we decided to close campus and stop having visitors, moved to having virtual visits. And this is something that we are now going to keep permanently, which as the international director, I'm very happy about, because this means that all international students will always have access to a virtual tour of campus. These are conducted over Zoom, and they're led by a current ODU student. So any of your students can sign up for one of these virtual tours on our website, and they'll be in conversation with an actual ODU student, possibly an international student, who will give them a virtual tour of campus and then talk to them about their own experience at ODU and answer any questions they have from a student perspective. Students can also schedule counselor meetings and office hours. So they can meet with me or another international advisor to talk about the application process, but they can also schedule office hours with a faculty member, which I think this is a pretty unique offering in terms of universities, but it allows students that are considering a major or have questions about a certain program to speak directly to a faculty member from that department. So if, for example, a student is not sure if they want to study psychology in the US because they're not sure what that looks like or what the focus is at the undergraduate level, they could schedule an office hours appointment with one of our psychology professors and learn more about the program. So that's my overview of ODU. I've put my contact information and our social media information up on the board if you want to ever ask questions, reach out, or follow what's going on at our university. I'm more than happy to answer questions today during this call, but if something occurs to you later on that we don't get to, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you so much for explaining each and everything about the university. So now may I request Pratima ma'am to please speak a little bit about the school so that Natalie would be a little bit more aware about the school. Yes, ma'am. Pratima ma'am,
Pratima
are you
ma'am, are
there?
you there? I guess they're having some internet issue.
Yeah. So, Nupur, can we have any other person who can speak about the school if
Yeah,
ma'am is not?
Prerna ma'am, I guess Prerna ma'am can do that. I guess she's here. You're not.
Can you hear
You're
me
on mute.
now?
Yes, yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right, all right. So basically, we are the head office of a group of educational institutions which has been in existence for the past 47 years now. And the school that we are interacting about is a school which has about 5,000 students on roll. And for the past, we've had about almost 24 batches of class 12 students passing out. So we have a huge alumni base also. And typically at Sunbeam Bhagwanpur, this is the parent school that I'm talking about, the head office. Typically every year, almost 410 to 450 students pass out class 12. So that's a huge number for one main school. But we also have 4 other branches of the Sunbeam group in Varanasi, which are also at the +2 level. And I think 11 of our associate schools, because totally the group is made of about 26 schools, 26 schools, yeah, out of which 6, now 7 main are located in Varanasi. So I think we are talking, if you talk about the entire group, we are about 17 to 18 units which have +2 level schooling and students passing out of the class 12 class grade every year. For the past, I would say about 7 or 8 years, the decision of the students to go abroad for studies has kind of taken more acceleration, primarily because we belong to a slightly conservative belt of the country. But the parents now are very open to these kind of forays into educational degrees abroad. Speaking of this particular branch, I have seen a trend in the past, I would say about 4 years, where students are gravitating more towards humanities per se, vis-a-vis the sciences, the pure sciences. And therefore, in the past 2, 3 years also, interdisciplinary approaches have kind of intrigued them more. So liberal arts is something which students are taking to, I would not say in a big way, but the shift has started. It is a gradual but a very definite shift from, say, the pure sciences, as in the medical or the engineering, which used to be a much hyped up profession almost 8 to 10 years back. But it's kind of dwindling now and moving more towards humanities and more towards, degrees in, say, psychology, clinical psychology. There's a keen interest. A lot of credit for it, of course, goes to Neha and the brilliant kind of teaching that she has been doing. Also to other faculty members, Suparna and Rinku. One is from the commerce faculty, the other is from the humanities faculty. So we all have been observing this gradual shift. One of the major factors which limits students actually opting out for admissions abroad, besides the finances, is of course the entire selection process. Appearing for so many essays, whether you're talking in terms of a SAT or you're talking in terms of a TOEFL. What I liked about your campus is, of course, that it is doing away with that. That is one thing. So the entry, particularly for a student of this region, sometimes becomes a tad daunting. But since you have explained this process, so the entry part is kind of very, very sorted, so to say, because parents do not understand or do not at times feel comfortable with too many, hurdles or bars or conditions with regard to the entry. Also, I must tell you, Natalie, that somewhere along the way, there has been a shift in the parents' attitude towards sending girl students out also, because like I said, we do belong to a slightly orthodox conservative region. So now, they have moved out towards sending their students, their girl child, to the metropolitan cities, and now offshores of India also. There is a gradual trend. But vis-a-vis the portfolio of a student typically in campus, very forward thinking, with an extremely globally aware kind of an outlook, because we partner a lot with international communities to give our students that kind of an exposure. We try, and during the course of their academic year in the schools also, and for so many years also, they are kind of brought up and nurtured on values which have more to do with being a global citizen, with of course an appreciation of their, an understanding of their own language and culture and heritage and tradition, but having an extremely, I would not say forward thinking, but definitely a balanced and a liberal outlook, because that is something which we, I would say very honestly, had to fight for. It's not easy to change mindsets, and but I would say that our students have a growth mindset, and when I see them mingling with international communities, I do not find that they at any point of time hold back or have compartments in their mind, or that they are not porous enough to blend well, or to have issues about acceptance. And also when it comes to gender sensitivity, when it comes to understanding of the world political scenario, or generally being a global citizen, they're pretty much there. They're pretty much there. And the Sunbeam organization is a pretty woman-dominated organization. As you can see, there's not a single gentleman here except for our dear old Arvind sir, who's the hostel superintendent. And so we are sorted with that also, right? Anything else you would want to know about the kind of schools that we represent?
Thank you so much for all of that information. That's really fantastic to hear. I know I received that school profile and saw this awesome list of ladies, and I was really impressed with that. It's great to hear your perspective on what barriers there are to students going abroad. That's something that we've noticed just in our conversations. In non-COVID times, I do travel to do student recruitment, and those are concerns that we hear as well, and it's really driven our decision to make our application process as simple and clear as possible. And we recognize that things like the SAT are very much developed from an American perspective. American students are the ones that are being prepared for that exam, and so it's an unfair comparison when you require international students to submit such an exam. So focusing instead on the CBSE exam or the IB, or something that the student has actually been preparing for, makes so much more sense, and that's how we base our admission. But it's really great to hear your perspective on that. I appreciate it a lot. I guess my question for you, when I was looking at the website, I noticed that, so you are on the CBSE curriculum, but I thought I saw something about IB schools as well. Do you have IB programs?
No, we don't have IB programs at all. None of our schools run that.
I thought I saw that. That's okay. I was just confused for a second there. I thought I saw a link, but maybe I was looking at Google. Good to know. And then it's really interesting to hear about the trend of students moving toward the humanities. That's really cool, because it's not something we see a ton with international applicants. We're used to seeing.
We've battled it.
Sorry?
We've battled it. We've battled it over the years,
Yeah.
because it was tough to break into that particular mindset. And some of the valiant warriors are sitting in this conference today. Whether it is a Prerna, we're all from, incidentally, we're all from humanities. So like rah for the domain.
Kudos to all of you. That's really awesome. That's so cool. And we do see, we get students from abroad who have those interests, but feel like a pressure to study something else. And so that's where we get a lot of students doing double majors. And we really encourage that, doing a double major or a minor, studying one thing for yourself, one thing for your parents. But because students actually often find really creative ways to combine those different interests to make themselves more competitive on the job market, or really carve out a niche for themselves. So, there's benefits to really emphasizing that there are options in the liberal arts to exploring more. That's great to hear that you have students that are starting to move in that direction.
Right. Natalie, given the current status about foreign students, there's a lot of anxiety, and I do know that there are a lot of our students who had applied also. So, what would be your advice then, if they wish to come and join the fall term, so to say? Um, what is the kind of scenario right now? Because it's pretty turbulent at the moment.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we've obviously been following this extremely, extremely closely. I've been working closely. So I oversee our visa program here at ODU, and I've been working closely with our field representatives from SEVP, and then other people in the field to try to better understand what's going on and where it's going. With our current students, what we're really trying to emphasize is that nothing is finalized yet. Everything that's come out in the past week, none of it's the final rule. We have a number of lawsuits going on trying to fight back. And so we're hoping and anticipating changes to what's come out. But looking more long term and looking to our initial freshmen that are coming in the fall, the global pandemic itself has already created a huge hurdle because visas are not being issued in most countries, if not all. There's very few exceptions to that at the moment. So even before this order came out, a lot of our students were planning, our incoming students were planning to start their first semester with us remotely. So they would take their classes online for their first semester. And then once embassies start issuing visas, the plan was for them to then transition to in-person. Some students that didn't want to deal with online classes or were already sick of it because of the spring have decided to defer their admission. We're extremely flexible, especially right now. We don't want to do anything that causes students to feel that they have to get on a plane if they don't feel safe doing so. We don't want to put students in that position. So students that were admitted for the fall, they have the option to defer to the spring or to even next fall, keeping their financial aid package intact. Everything remains the same. So we honor those admission offers and encourage students to really do whatever they're most comfortable with. At this point in time, there should not be any rush for students to try to get things going. The whole world is sort of at a standstill. And so we're doing whatever we can to support the choice they make. Those that really want to just get started, want to be here, we have done everything we can with them in the visa process up to that interview. So they have all their documentation, they have everything from us. It's all a matter of when the embassy will reopen and grant them an interview. As we get closer and closer to the start of fall, it's looking less and less likely that embassies will be doing that. And so those students, again, can either start online or defer. It's a tough situation all around. It was already tough with the pandemic, and this last week has not made it easier for anybody. I will say,
At all.
Yeah, I know. I can't even imagine for your students who have graduated and had plans to go abroad. It's a tough situation. Yesterday, we had a town hall Zoom meeting with all of our international students to give them some perspective of what because there's so much information out there, to really consolidate it, let them know what the current situation is from what we're seeing, let them know what work we're doing on our end to protect their status. And then just give them the opportunity to ask questions and honestly to vent, let off their frustrations, anger if they wanted to. That's what we're here for, to support them in that way if they need it. It was a really good opportunity. As an institution, the entire university has responded. I mean, it's been less than a week since the news came out, and I've been bombarded with emails from faculty and administrators offering their support, which I've never seen higher ed in general just rally the way it has this week. So as hard as it's been a really rough week for everybody. It's also been very inspiring. all the ODU faculty. I've received so many offers to, you know, I can offer an in-person class if it protects their visa status. And so we know we have the support, and we're really committed to doing whatever we can to protect our students and help them continue their education without those extra stresses, hurdles, barriers.
Right. Nice to know that. Really, really heartening to know that.
Actually, it's raining very heavily over there. That's why most of the members are facing a network issue. So, Pratima ma'am, if you have any other queries, please feel free to ask.
No, I'm good. For now, it's been very comprehensive. And in case I have, or in fact, what we are going to do, Natalie, is that we have this little group here. So in case the others have queries, you know, we're just going to put it all together and have Neha mail them to you, or we can be talking to you through Nupur and Afsha, who have managed to build this wonderful bridge today for all of
That's
us.
perfect.
So we'll be doing that. Yeah.
Our pleasure.
Yeah. No.
And we'll share the PPT of Ohio Dominican University with the school so that
Yeah.
every member can go through with that once again. And please feel free to
Sure.
write us for any query. We'll surely contact with Natalie
Sure.
and give you the information.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much. This has been an extremely wonderful interaction, and I'm glad to have met all of you.
Thank you so much,
ma'am.
ma'am, for
Thank
your
you for
time.
joining us.
Thank you
Thank you
all.
so
It's
much,
been really
Suparna.
great having this.
Look after
Thank you,
yourself and
Natalie.
stay
Thank you,
safe.
everyone.
Take care. Please take care. Good
Thank you.
night.
Goodbye.
Everyone
Natalie,
take
have a good
care.
Good
day.
night and goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Good
Bye-bye.
night. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.